Okay, I needed a little bit of a break from the Ultimate Fantastic Four, so today I am talking about Ultimate Marvel Team Up. This is kind of a big book. It is all 16 issues of Ultimate Marvel Team Up, plus the Ultimate Super Spider-Man Special or something like that. Ultimate Spider-Man Super Special, I don't know. And all of this is written by Brian Michael Bendis with a whole bunch of artists. I am not a big fan of Brian Michael Bendis' writing style. One of the big things that I have never liked about his style since I started reading comics was how it took him forever to get to whatever the point was of whatever story he was doing. Spider-Man gets bit by a spider and Uncle Ben dies. Let's take 6 issues for that to happen. And that was pretty much everything he wrote, except for this series. I really like the succinctness of just about everything in this book. You have several little one-off adventures. I think the longest thing in here, there is a 3-part story with Spider-Man, Daredevil, and Punisher. And then you get, there's a 2-parter with the Hulk, there's a 2-parter with Shang-Chi, but a lot of it is just little one-off adventures. There's one with Black Widow, that's a standalone. There's one with Iron Man that's a standalone. One with Wolverine that I think that one was a standalone. There's a whole lot of there is no Spider-Man's teaming up with Wolverine. Let's let that take 6 issues to unfold. And that has always been my biggest gripe with Bendis' style. One of my biggest gripes. But this completely avoids that. In fact, it feels like whoever came up with the idea to do this, obviously it's Spider-Man teaming up with different characters in the Marvel Universe, but it feels like beyond that, they said, let's let this be a showcase for different artistic interpretations of some of these characters. So each story is a different artist doing their own thing. So the Punisher, Daredevil, Spider-Man adventure, that's Bill Sienkiewicz. The Iron Man adventure, that's Michael Avon Oeming. And then Matt Wagner does the team up with Wolverine. And I can't remember every artist that works in this book. Phil Hester did the 2-parter with the Hulk. And it's really interesting seeing some of these artists have a crack at a lot of characters who at this point in time had not shown up in the Ultimate Universe. Some of this, Wolverine, when we get that one, Wolverine Ultimate X-Men had already started, and I think this actually started before the Ultimates. In fact, I know it did, because a lot of this later gets paved over when some of the later Ultimate stuff comes around. The issue with Iron Man, it kind of goes through his backstory that takes place before this issue, and almost none of that is mentioned or referenced at all when you get to the Ultimates. And then it's referenced yet not again. That was weird, the way I said that, in Ultimate Iron Man by Orson Scott Card. So a lot of this book, if you are looking for continuity in the Ultimate Universe, some of this does stick around, and a lot of it doesn't. At one point in this book, for some reason, Matt Wagner draws Sabretooth with these weird tattoos on his face. Much later in Ultimate X-Men, we are told that Wolverine, with his healing factor, cannot get a tattoo. That's fine. That's not really a big deal for me. But then you get something like Iron Man. Pretty much his entire backstory here is completely ignored when you get to the Ultimates by Millar and Hitch. Then you get Ultimate Hulk. He is when he de-hulks and he turns back into Bruce Banner, he's talking crazy they know about you and me, Peter. He doesn't call him Peter. And then that is referenced almost 10 years later in the Ultimate Origins miniseries by Bendis, and so pretty much you can bet that a lot of this is going to be referenced again later by Bendis. In the first storyline of his Ultimate X-Men run, at one point Spider-Man and Wolverine, that was another longer team up between those two, they go and talk to Black Widow for some reason, I can't remember why, and Spider-Man references something that happens in the Black Widow issue of Ultimate Marvel Team Up. So if you are looking for a really tight continuity with a lot of the other Ultimate books, you're going to get a little bit of that, mostly with stuff that Bendis was working on later on. So he's pretty good with referencing stuff in Ultimate Spider-Man. Very early on in Ultimate Spider-Man, I remember somebody was yelling at Spider-Man, pointing a gun at him, calling him a mutant, and then in this issue, Spider-Man says, well, up until recently, people haven't been calling me mutants in the one where he teams up with Wolverine. But then you get something like there's there's a really bizarre Fantastic Four story in here drawn by, I think, Jim Mahfood. I don't know how to pronounce his name. And then that one later is ignored whenever Ultimate Fantastic Four starts. But if you are looking for like, oh golly gee, that continuity reference doesn't work, you're gonna have to get over it. But I like that there's a lot of really interesting smaller stories here from Bendis, which is something that I didn't think that he was capable of doing. I thought that he had to, characters walking across the street to get the mail, 6 issues for that. It's really interesting to see Bendis actually kind of limit himself and stick to some smaller stories here, and the art seems to be more the feature for this book rather than the story, or rather than the writing, because art's wow, I can't talk. Artists, they are storytellers as well, so I shouldn't throw them under the bus like that. But anyway, probably one of my favorite Brian Michael Bendis books. I really liked it. It's got a lot of fun, little smaller stories that if you are a big fan of the Ultimate Universe at large, you may not like some of this because a lot of it doesn't really come back into play later on, but I liked it, and I didn't mind that some of this isn't necessarily canon with the Ultimate Marvel Universe. That didn't really bother me. So that is all that I have to say about the Ultimate Marvel Team-Up book. I enjoyed this one, and maybe you guys will too, if you see it out there somewhere. So anyway, that's about all that I have to say right now. Next time, I guess I'll get back into Ultimate Fantastic Four. Until then, have a good one.